It started with a whistle. At first, Daniel barely noticed it. A faint melody carried on the wind, something soft, almost familiar. He assumed it was a tune stuck in his head, maybe a song he had heard in a commercial or a forgotten lullaby from childhood. But the strange part? Every time he tried to remember where it came from, his mind went completely blank. One night, as he walked home from work, he heard it again. A low, distant humming just behind him. Daniel turned. No one was there. Still, the melody lingered in the air, just out of reach, teasing him like a name on the tip of his tongue. He shook it off. It was nothing, just his imagination. At least that's what he told himself. A week later, the song changed. It was no longer a simple whistle or hum. It became notes, chords, a full melody. And worse, it was getting louder. At night, it seeped through the walls of his apartment like someone was playing an old record just outside his bedroom. One evening, Daniel stopped at a cafe. As he stirred his coffee absent-mindedly, he caught himself humming along to it. His hands went cold. How could he hum a song he had never heard? He asked the waitress, his voice uneasy. "Hey, do you hear that? That music?" She tilted her head. "Music? There's nothing playing right now." A chill ran through him. Then she laughed. "You must have something stuck in your head." That was the problem. It wasn't in his head. That night, Daniel was jolted awake by his phone ringing. The screen showed no caller ID. With a shaky breath, he answered. At first, there was only static. Then, the song began to play, note for note, chillingly clear. Daniel froze. His heartbeat hammered in his ears as he whispered, "Who is this?" A pause. Then through the receiver, a voice barely above a whisper. "You know the song now." The call ended. Daniel sat there, drenched in sweat, his hands trembling. No, this wasn't possible. Determined to find an answer, Daniel searched everywhere. He scoured music databases, forums, even old radio archives, trying to find the song. Nothing. It didn't exist. Until one day he found it. A single unnamed track buried deep in an online archive of forgotten recordings. The file was badly degraded, warped like an old vinyl left to rot. When he pressed play, his breath caught in his throat. It was the song, the same haunting melody. But in the background, beneath the music, there was something else, a faint whispering. Daniel strained to listen, adjusting the volume. The words were distorted, barely audible, like a voice from another time. Then suddenly, the whisper turned into a scream. The speakers burst with static, and his screen flickered violently before shutting off completely. A single message appeared on the screen. "You heard it, now it knows you." After that night, the song never stopped. It played everywhere. In the rustling wind, in the creak of his apartment floor, in the distant hum of traffic. When he turned on the TV, it was already playing on every channel. When he called a friend, their voice was drowned beneath the same eerie tune. When he walked down the street, people would pause, tilting their heads as if they heard something strange, but couldn't quite place it. And then they would look at him, their faces twisted in confusion. And worse, some in recognition. The last verse, Daniel tried everything. He destroyed his phone. He smashed his laptop. He moved to a different city. Nothing changed. The song followed him. Until one night, he heard something new. A second voice. It wasn't part of the song. It was something beneath it. A whisper, growing louder, clearer. Daniel listened, his skin crawling. "Sing it." His breath hitched. "What?" The whisper turned into a chorus of voices, echoing through the walls. "Sing it. Sing it. Sing it." And before he could stop himself, before he could fight it, he opened his mouth. And he sang. The melody poured out of him, every note perfect, as if he had known it his entire life. As the last note left his lips, the whispers stopped. The world fell silent. Daniel gasped, his hands gripping the sides of his head, waiting, dreading what would happen next. And then, the song started again. Only now it wasn't playing in his head. It was coming from someone else, from outside, from everywhere. And this time it wasn't just following him, it was spreading. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment below.